Hello, my name is Deshini Newman, and I am the Managing Director for EMEA ISC Squared. It is an absolute pleasure to have the opportunity to share our insights with you today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. So, who is ISC Squared? For those of you who may not already be a member or are unfamiliar, a quick overview on what we do. It's pretty simple, really. We're the world's largest non-profit association of certified cybersecurity professionals, and last year we celebrated our 30th anniversary. Our mission is to inspire a safe and secure cyber world, and we do that by helping professionals affirm their knowledge with a broad range of cyber domains, as well as providing them with training for continued learning throughout their careers. We're there to advocate for the profession and to be the voice of the profession when it comes to legislation and industry-level discussions on the role cybersecurity plays in our lives. We have more than 150,000 members in 175 countries working on the front lines of security and building the programs and teams that protect our way of life. It is an awesome responsibility, and we take it very seriously. The cybersecurity profession faces many challenges, but even more opportunities. The ISC Squared research team is dedicated to better understanding the barriers facing the cybersecurity workforce. But we're also focused on uncovering solutions that position these talented individuals to excel in their profession, better defend their organization's data, and surpass their career goals. It is important that we do our due diligence to understand the variety of issues at play within the cybersecurity industry that affect our members and the community at large. Only through building this understanding and reinforcing our knowledge with the data that we have can we truly serve in a leadership role and be a source of advice for cybersecurity professionals and those seeking to improve our national programs. Our research explores a broad array of topics, including quantifying the cybersecurity workforce gap, better understanding the representation of women and minorities in the field, salary benchmarking, uncovering more effective hiring practices, investigating management and leadership issues facing our industry. Our cybersecurity workforce study has become a highly referenced report in the industry as people try to get a handle on the size of the workforce gap and how we might be able to address it. And part of the findings from that, specifically looking at women in cybersecurity, is what I am here to discuss with you today. A bit of background context. The ISC Squared Cybersecurity Workforce Study is conducted annually to assess the cybersecurity workforce gap, better understand the barriers facing the cybersecurity profession, and uncover strategies that organizations can use to recruit, build, and strengthen their cybersecurity teams. It provides an insights on these talented individuals who are excelling in this profession, securing their organization's critical assets and advancing in their careers. For the most recent edition, we spoke with respondents in 11 major economies in order to gain deeper insights on the global landscape. It is as part of this survey process that we also field our Women in Cybersecurity survey questions. This edition offers the industry's first known estimate of the number of cybersecurity professionals currently working in the field, which is a huge step forward in understanding the scope of the challenge the industry faces. We put a lot of thought into our respondent base, and you can see from the breakdown of who they are here. The overall Cybersecurity Workforce Study participants came from 11 economies all over the world, including the US, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, UK, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. One of the goals with the most recent study was to expand the sample size, which in turn increases the reliability of the results. We more than doubled the number of study participants from 2018 to 3,237 respondents in 2019. The margin of error for the global descriptive statistics in this research is plus or minus 1.7% at a 95% confidence level. For our Women in Cybersecurity research, the data is based on responses from 975 women. 30% of the overall who responded to the Cybersecurity Workforce Study. This in itself is an increase in the previous year, where women made up only 24% of our overall respondent base. You can see that while all of them have cybersecurity responsibilities, they come from a wide range of industries and represent both smaller businesses and larger enterprises. We developed a method to estimate the size of the current cybersecurity workforce, a measurement that had not been provided by publicly available sources before. This calculation process was finalized first for the US based on the availability of the most robust market inputs. The study found that nearly 805,000 cybersecurity professionals are estimated to be working in the US. The calculation was then applied to 10 other major economies where sufficient survey data was available. Together, these workforce estimates total 2.8 million. Our calculation uses US staffing ratios conservatively to extrapolate cybersecurity workforce populations outside of the US. However, we recognize that the US business dynamics and staffing models may not necessarily apply directly to all international markets. As a result, the size of the current global cybersecurity workforce should not be considered an absolute accurate, but our best estimate, given the lack of secondary data sources available in some regions. Nonetheless, this provides us with a figure to work with when understanding the current size of the global workforce in cybersecurity, which, along with the potential for more jobs, will let us look at the opportunities for greater gender balance and more women entering and progressing in the sector. As you can see, the US has more than 800,000 cybersecurity professionals working today. No surprise from the world's largest economy. The UK has the largest cybersecurity workforce in Europe, bigger than France and Germany combined. Now that we know the size of our current workforce, let's pivot to look at the size of the gap that exists in order to protect organizations from cyber threats. When you talk about estimates like this, it's really important to understand where the data is coming from. Here's why we think we have the most accurate gap figure in the industry. Unlike legacy gap calculation models that simply subtract supply from demand, our calculation takes other critical factors into consideration, including the percentage of organizations with open positions and the estimated growth of companies of different sizes. The calculation of demand includes the openings that are currently available, along with the estimation of future staffing needs. The calculation of supply includes estimates for academic and non-academic entrants entering the field, along with estimates of existing professionals who are pivoting to cybersecurity societies. This more holistic approach to measuring the gap produces a more realistic representation of the security challenges and opportunities that both companies and cybersecurity professionals are facing. So how pervasive is this lack of trained staff? While just about 2 of every 3 organizations across the globe report a shortage. That's a staggering problem, given the sophistication and severe consequences of cyber attacks they are facing. 51% of respondents say their organization is at moderate or even extreme risk because of the shortfall. The cybersecurity workforce gap has risen from 2.92 million needed professionals to 4.07 million this year. Growing economies around the world, combined with an increasing array of sophisticated cyber attacks, has led to a global surge in hiring demand. Knowing that we have an existing base of 2.8 million professionals already, we now know the severity of the shortage in addition to the raw number. As such, we understand that if we can increase our current workforce by 145,000% globally, we will find the needs of organizations looking for cybersecurity support. And just to clarify, that's 145% globally. Interestingly, the shortage is not balanced worldwide. In the US, where there is already 800,000 plus professionals working, the workforce would need to grow 62% by adding 500,000 new trained cyber staff. In other regions like Europe, the increase needed is over 300,000. The skills shortage is a challenge, but not an insurmountable one. We have to realise that there simply is not the skilled staff out there to fill these roles. That means more training, more certification, but most importantly, more people. We must expand the field of candidates we are attracting to the sector, and making cybersecurity more welcoming, more accessible, and more viable to a variety of diversity groups is essential. In a space that is majority male, bringing more women to the world of cybersecurity careers alongside the existing workforce, not instead of, is one step towards tackling the skills gap. When we look at where these men and women are coming from academically, we see there are several interesting takeaways. For one, there tends to be a misperception that cybersecurity professionals are all naturally gifted IT practitioners and have a lifetime of experience in computer science and education. But when you break down the percentages, the first thing you see is that nearly 1 in 4 did not advance as far as a bachelor's degree, and that 60% have come from an area outside of computer and information sciences. This is tremendously important to understand in the context of the workforce gap we are talking about. Many women may feel intimidated by the prospect of women working in cybersecurity and have been influenced by movies and TV to see it as mysterious, shrouded, male-dominated discipline. But this data shows us that many of the people currently doing these jobs have transferable skills from other areas, not to mention the fact that 30% of our respondent base was women in cybersecurity roles. We need more of that awareness if we are to flip the equation, and our industry needs to do a better job of helping curious individuals understand what it takes to get into the field and demystify it. We also see that many of those in our industry are aging out at a time when only 5% of the current staff are under 25 years old. If we don't do a better job of recruitment now and broadening the appeal of cybersecurity careers, we're going to be faced with an even bigger problem in 10 to 15 years' time, when 29% of those in the profession now will be retired or soon considering it. As we all know, time goes fast. We understand a bit more about the makeup of the workforce. Now let's look at what keeps them awake at night. Not surprisingly, considering what we've just covered, but cybersecurity professionals say their top job concern is their lack of skilled security personnel that they work alongside. In fact, they're much more worried about this than even their own work-life balance, which goes to show the selflessness of so many in our profession. With what we know about the industry's challenges, why would women want to career change into it? Why would they want to progress on a long-term cybersecurity path? Well, our research tells us several things. Women in the cybersecurity profession are committed to their careers long-term. They view cybersecurity as a viable, rewarding career, and a solid majority of women interviewed plan to stay in the profession until retirement. In recent years, academia, non-profits, businesses, and governments have launched initiatives to draw girls to computer sciences and STEM fields in general. At an early age, it is important, and those efforts may be paying off, given that many respondents stated they sought out their career path before securing a cybersecurity role, with 2/3 saying they planned on entering the field while at university. Despite the relatively high interest by women in cybersecurity while in college, only slightly more than half, 53% of women interested in the profession started their careers in cybersecurity. However, the data reveals that women in cybersecurity still face disadvantages such as income disparity and obstacles to success in the field, such as discrimination. 22% of women, compared to 13% of men, cited discrimination as a challenge they've experienced during their career. As we can see, there is clear disparity, but also a common set of objectives. When asked about success they achieved in their careers, men scored higher than women in some crucial areas, often directly attributed to satisfaction and professional achievement. As a whole, the study found women and men in cybersecurity report similar dissatisfaction levels with their work, with 69% of women and 66% of men saying they were either very or somewhat satisfied. However, the number is more skewed toward women in the very satisfied career. A majority of female cybersecurity professionals are successfully progressing in their career. Nearly 1/3 say they are exactly where they want to be or expecting to be, compared to 20% of men. Another 33% of women say they are very close, and 22% moderately close to where they're expected to be. Looking ahead, more than half of women in cybersecurity, 53%, say they have a good idea of their desired career path, compared to 48% of men. Overall, women in cybersecurity seem to have clearer expectations rather than men in how they envisioned their career tracks and the level of success they've attained. Women get paid significantly less than men, and the differences are especially pronounced in North America and Europe. The average salary for women in cybersecurity workers in North America is just under $80,000, compared to an average of about $96,000 for men. In Europe, the average salary for women per annum is about $40,500 and for men $67,000. This salary discrepancy is reflected of society at large. It is estimated that women in the United States earn about 80 cents for every dollar that men are paid. In summary, the global cybersecurity workforce gap may be daunting, and the male-female ratio in the workforce disparity continues to be challenging. But neither is insurmountable. Women continue to make gains in the cybersecurity field, with many embracing the profession as a rewarding career path that they plan to stay on until retirement. But the overall trend is positive. Some issues still need to be addressed. Women in the field face more discrimination and receive lower compensation than men. If these inequities are corrected, the cybersecurity profession may attract more women. This would benefit business by boosting diversity and attracting different points of view, and for the industry by helping to close the workforce gap for millions of workers. If this kind of research interests you, please do visit our website to read and download more of our recent research output. More insights are coming out in the next few months. I thank you for your time and attention. It's been an absolute pleasure to share our insights with you. Thank you.